Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then don't forget to subscribe down below, and without much further ado, let's get on with the video. There were two videos that I really wanted to make. One of them was my thoughts on Game of Thrones this season and the finishing of the show and the show in general, because I love Game of Thrones a lot. And the other video I wanted to do has actually been requested quite a lot, and that is for me to do a makeup tutorial. I am going to mix those two things together, and I'm going to do a Game of Thrones inspired look while also discussing Game of Thrones. So I will say, if you haven't watched season 8 yet of Game of Thrones, or you haven't watched any of Game of Thrones, this video is going to be full of spoilers of the TV show. Before I start, I do want to reiterate, I don't know how to do makeup properly, and I don't know the proper techniques or the proper brushes and all that kind of stuff. I've just found a way that works for me, and you guys wanted to see how I do makeup, so that's what's happening here. What I use on my eyes to prime them is the eyeshadow primer potion by Urban Decay. I've been using this stuff for at least 6 years now. Like, this stuff I swear by, I love it. It just kind of allows for more colour to kind of show up on your eyes. It allows for more pigmentation, and it allows for you to not have to have your crease go weird. So makeup. There was a lot that happened this season, and I know there was a lot, and I know people are really angry about the season. They feel like they kind of watched the whole show for no reason. Like, they were sent on this journey and then nothing really happened, and I just want to say to that, I'm not in that boat. The ending that we got was probably the best possible ending I could have hoped for. I really enjoyed how it kind of finished, how it began, how the Starks were kind of on top, because I'm House Stark all the way, always have been. There was a little deviation to House Targaryen, but I don't know, Dany kind of just... I lost a lot of respect for her in the way that she was portrayed at the beginning of this series, and obviously in episode 5. I don't know, I felt like they did it too fast, and that was why I was annoyed. It wasn't the fact that they chose the Mad Queen route, it was the fact that they did it in what felt like 5 seconds. Before I carry on talking, the next thing I do is put sellotape on my eyes to where my eyeliner is going to go, just because for me, it helps. Kind of would have liked for there to have been another episode between episodes 4 and 5. I just think it would have allowed for more time for Daenerys to snap and kind of, you know, go crazy, because I liked it. I just feel like the nods weren't strong enough in previous seasons for them to suddenly turn around and be like, she's the Mad Queen. I didn't say what actual makeup look I'm gonna do. I wanted to do a makeup look inspired by my favourite episode of Game of Thrones, and that is the last episode of season 6, Winds of Winter. Now, if you don't remember that episode, it is the one where basically 20% of the main cast are killed. Marjorie dies, Tommen dies, Lancel dies, Loras dies, Walder Frey dies, Grandmeister Pycelle dies, the High Sparrow and all of his little sparrow minions die. It is my favourite episode of Game of Thrones. I love it because of how different it is to previous episodes. So my eye look is going to be inspired by that episode, and by that I mean I'm just going to do green makeup, you know, because wildfire, that's a thing. I'm going to use the James Charles palette. I'm going to be using the lightest one, which is called Social Blade. So I'm going to put that... No, I'm not. Yeah, no, I am. I'm going to put Social Blade on my eyeballs. For me, Daenerys doing all she did in episode 5, kind of I allowed it when it got to episode 6, and they were having that like moment just before she is killed. She says that like no one else has the right to choose, like it's her right. And in that moment, I was like, okay, I see and I accept this kind of idea that she is this tyrant that went mad. Like, I fully accepted it in that moment, just because of how they kind of showed that she hadn't gone mad in a sense of, like, power hungry and, like, all that. I mean, obviously she did, but it was more of a sense that she went mad in a sense of no one ever listened to her. She was trying to do what was right, no one was listening, and now no one else gets to choose because she knows what's right. And it was like fully showing how far she believed in her prophecy and like her kind of fate and that kind of thing. So in the end, you know, I kind of accepted it, and I thought her death was beautiful. I really enjoyed how they put it at the beginning of the episode, because then it was kind of like a shock, because I feel like people thought Dany was going to be there till the end. You know, I think it was going to either be Dany killed Jon or Jon killed Dany, and I really enjoyed that. Next thing I'm going to do is do a darker green. And I'm using the Urban Decay Game of Thrones palette. Woo! Staying on brand for this video, I'm going to use this colour just here, which is called The Sight. It is slightly darker than it's coming up on camera, but it is a really nice colour. It's metallic. We're going to go in with that because sparkle. The next thing I want to talk about is Arya, because she is my favourite. I loved her this season. If Maisie Williams doesn't win some kind of award for her performance as Arya, I'm gonna attack someone, okay? Because it was insane. Like, actually crazy insane. She just delivered every episode, and I just, oh god, I can't. I just love her so much. Also, the main thing about Arya this season was, of course, she is the Night King Slayer. And while the Night King story kind of came and went quite quickly when we all thought it was going to be, you know, the Game of Thrones ending, I enjoyed Battle of Winterfell so goddamn much. I cried my little heart out. The main thing with Arya was people were saying that it wouldn't be possible. She wasn't, like, prepared enough. How could this little girl, you know, come in and kill the Night King? It should have been Jon. It should have been Jon. It should have been Jon. And, like, we all thought it was going to be Jon, okay? And I think that's why it's great that it wasn't him, okay? Because Game of Thrones has never been predictable. Why would it change now? How was she able to sneak up on him? That was the main thing. How would she be able to sneak up on him? People are forgetting the fact that they literally put in a good 2-minute scene of her hiding and making no noise while trying to get away from White Walkers. They did that entire thing. Also, in episode 1 of this season, she snuck up on Jon in that exact place to show that she could sneak up on people. Like, it was foreshadowed quite a lot if you really, really look at it. And I just live for that moment. It's one of the most satisfying things I've ever seen in my life. The main thing that annoyed me about Game of Thrones this season was the fact that they kind of neglected major plot that they'd talked about for so long. For example, Bran the Broken. Now, for the past 2, 3 maybe seasons of Game of Thrones, I can't really remember, Bran kept saying, I am no longer Brandon Stark. I am not Bran Stark. I am not Bran. I am the Three-Eyed Raven. I'm not Bran. As soon as that crown comes into view, he's like, yeah, I'm Bran. Call me Bran the Broken. And sure, fine, they're not going to call him King Three-Eyed Raven, okay? It has to be King Bran first of his name. But they just neglected that entire thing of him being like, I'm not Brandon Stark. And I just don't get that side of it. So that I'm a bit miffed about. But in the grand scheme of things, I was mad that Bran got it until Sansa stood up for herself and got the North, and that's a whole other video if you hate Sansa, like I know a lot of people do, which I don't get at all. Yeah, I had an hour-long fight with someone. I say fight, it was a very in-depth discussion about why Sansa is one of the best characters in Game of Thrones, and they were just not having it. But honestly, don't come at me if you don't like Sansa, because she is amazing. I think she is one of the best characters. The Hound and the Mountains fight, I thought, was the most perfect moment in the entirety of that series. I thought it was done exactly how I wanted it to be done. I really felt for Sandor in that moment, because obviously he is afraid of fire and he doesn't even think twice about jumping into the flames to kill his brother. Same goes for when Arya is in trouble in Battle of Winterfell, and then he just like immediately goes. I thought that was really good, and we got to see more of the Hound and Arya storyline, and it kind of showed that the Hound himself wasn't necessarily a bad guy. He would just kind of didn't really like anyone, but when he did like someone, he protected them. The Hound did no wrong this season. I enjoyed him a lot, and I'm still living, and I'm really excited to rewatch the season so I can just see him in all his glory, because it's one of my favourite characters. He's really good. I'm just gonna pack that on there and put some light green in my life. For ages, I obviously was like many people, wanted Brienne and Jaime to get it on, you know, get together, declare their love for each other was as far as I really wanted it to go. Like, anything more, cool, go with it. But I just wanted them to finally declare their love for each other, and we got that this season. Yay. Then, of course, we see Jaime be like, hun, Brienne, Sir Brienne. Still love that scene, a whole other story, loved it. We see Jaime be like, hey Sir Brienne, yeah, I'm gonna go back to King's Landing now, because like I started this with Cersei and I feel like, you know, I need to go back for Cersei. I really believed that he was kind of playing Brienne in a sense of he was gonna go back to Cersei and kill her so as to kill the worst parts of himself. That's really what I was hoping. I thought that it was expected, but also not as expected as just him going back to Cersei and just completely neglecting his entire plot line. But I guess the writers felt differently and wanted it to go in a different direction, because as we all know, Jaime goes back to King's Landing, and it is where he ends up dying in the arms of Cersei Lannister. When I first watched it, I wasn't too happy, but when I rewatched it, I was very happy with how they ended up killing off Cersei. Jaime, still a bit annoyed. I was angry at first because obviously everybody wanted Cersei to get a tyrant death, you know, stabbing, poisoning, explosion, all of that kind of thing. They wanted a person to do it, i.e. Dany, Jon, Arya, Sansa even. We all wanted someone to do it. I personally wanted Sansa to be the one to kill her because I thought that would be quite poetic. Instead, of course, we got her being crushed by the Red Keep, which was annoying at first. But then, when I really thought about it, I thought it was quite powerful in the way they did it, because it showed that the one place that Cersei felt the safest, the Red Keep, was the one place that she would end up dying. And I thought it was really cool to see her kind of that vulnerable. You know that whole scene when she's showing off to Lord Baelish how powerful she is? It kind of goes against that, being like, but she wasn't powerful. Like, not when you strip her back of everything and just show her in the face of death. She is just a weak woman who was terrified, and I really ended up enjoying it. And also the song, which is called For Cersei, the most painful song. It has this different feel to it, but in the end it is Reigns of Castamere, just in a really painful violin, I believe it was, sad way. It is amazing. If you truly think about the music and what's happening, it just adds to that entire scene, and I really, really, really just enjoyed it in the end. So yes, I was mad at Cersei's death, more mad at Jaime dying in the way he did without killing Cersei or kind of going back to Brienne or anything like that. I kind of felt like that they made him and Brienne get together just because they wanted that fan yay, and it wasn't a matter of like, oh, finally with Brienne, but then no, he died, this is so sad. It wasn't like that. It was just annoying, and kind of felt like they did it just to please as many people as they could, which kind of is funny because they ended up pleasing not everyone. Not everyone. Now we're gonna go on to the gold, because I thought, yes, we have our wildfire, but also we've got Cersei Lannister, you know? She is the big baddie in that episode. She is the one that kind of makes everyone die. I am going to put some gold on my eyeballs. The way I'm going to do it is I've got my Jeffree Star Magic Star Concealer, which I got for my birthday. Oh, why did I do that? Don't close your eyes when you're doing this, my dudes, because you're just gonna make a mess. Now it looks weird, okay? It looks weird, but this I found really helps highlight your eyeball. Anyway, the gold I'm going to be using on my eyeballs is going to be Dothraki. Someone asked me who I would want on the Iron Throne, and I think at the beginning of the season it was definitely Sansa. I didn't really want Dany on the throne. I think that would have been too simple of a thing for them to do. So Sansa was definitely my top choice. People thinking Arya should have been queen, I was just like, that's not who Arya is, please stop. Sabrina of Tarth, that's what I want to say. I thought that was one of the best moments in goddamn TV history that I've ever seen in my life. You want to know why? Because I've always wanted to be a knight, okay? If I had to choose between being a lady or a sir, I would be a sir. Who wants to go and sit in a castle, you know, and sew dresses? I mean, if you're Sansa, then live for your best life, you know? But who wants to do that when you can pick up a sword and have a fun sword fight, okay? I've always wanted to be a knight over a lady, and I just really appreciated that they did that and they put it in the season, and kind of, I really liked it, okay? I really liked it for her character, and I really liked it for just being empowering, you know? I'm gonna go and wash the fallout off of my face. We are gonna go on to eyeliner, my favourite part. Not really, but it's terrifying, but we're gonna go with it. NYX Vivid Brights in this green. It is the only green they have. I don't know if it has a name. Vivid Envy. I'm turning into Elphaba. Sick. Okay, that seemed to work way better than I thought it would, so that means this eye is gonna be tragic. Eyeliner is done. I don't know how I feel about it, but we're gonna go with it. I'm gonna add my eyelashes and then I'll be back. Hey, we're back. I put my eyelashes on. These eyelashes I actually got from Primark. And then also I put on my No. 7 Intense Volume Mascara. I live by this stuff. It is the most waterproof mascara I've ever used in my life. I am now going to go onto my face and I'm gonna de-redenize that wasn't English, the face, and I used the number 7 Stay Perfect foundation. Someone asked if I would have a pet dragon or a pet direwolf. Now, while I love dragons, I feel like they are harder to look after than direwolves, so I would probably choose a wolf, even though it'd be really cool to have a dragon, don't you think? But also, dragons breathe fire. That would be kind of terrifying if suddenly this dragon didn't like me anymore and just wanted to start fighting me, and I could die quite easily. I know a wolf could also kill me, but I just feel like a dragon's a bit too much. I'm going back with the Jeffree Star concealer and I'm just going to conceal my blemishes. It works quite well, you just have to kind of smooshy douche. And yes, I just said the word smooshy douche. Oh, the petition. Now, the petition is something that has really angered me, and it's angered a lot of people that actually enjoyed the season, and that is because it's the most offensive thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, okay, the show was made and it continued to thrive because fans loved it. Cool. Did, one, fans really believe that we were going to get an ending that everyone was going to be satisfied with? That's not possible. Secondly, it's impossible to satisfy everyone. So for every... I don't even know what the petition's at now. It was at 1 million the last time I checked. But for all those people, there's another like 3 million that did like it, but because we liked it, we're not saying anything. And then it just looks like everyone hated it. And I don't think everyone did hate it. I think just people got really like heavily interested in the show to a degree where they came up with these plot points that they really wanted to see happen. And of course, they can't make everyone happy, so then they just didn't do like half of these plot points, you know? You know the tea? Did you get me? This isn't blending out. I use the Maybelline New York waterproof matte powder up to 16-hour wear, matte and flawless finish. I've been using this for years now. I love it. I use it in the colour Sand. I usually use this instead of foundation because it's quite a strong thing, so I'm just like, cool. So I just put that all over my face using a Primark Kabuki brush. I say Kabuki, it's a very knockoff Kabuki brush, but there you go. Then when it comes to contouring, I don't do a lot. I just use this Master Sculpt by Maybelline. I've had this for ages, and I just kind of try and sculpt where I can. Just kind of define my cheekbones as best as I can. So that's that. The next thing I do is highlight. Now, I have been using the Game of Thrones palette as highlight recently because whew, it's really pretty. So I just use one of these Morphe brushes and I'm going to dip back into King's Landing, which was the light gold colour, and I'm going to use that as my highlight because I love it so much, but you can build it as well, which is what I love about it. And there we go. That is my face all done. Now we do eyebrows, and I use the MUA Makeup Academy Pro Brow Ultimate Eye Kit, and I just use the darkest colour and I just fill them in, and then over the top of that I put the lightest colour. So I'm going to do that as quick as I can before my camera dies. See, I don't do anything special, I just colour them in. For my lips, I'm going to use the Jeffree Star lip lacquer in a quality. I live by Jeffree Star's lip lacquers. They literally last all day, and I'm not over exaggerating. I am just going to do my lips. I'm going to put some moisturiser on first though, because they are dry. And we're just going to put on some green lipstick, which I've never done before, so this should be fun. Wow, there we go. Oh my god, I'm living. What a nice colour. That is it. That is my look. It is wildfire inspired, I guess. It's very green. It's just a lot of greens, a little bit of gold, you know, that kind of Winds of Winter fire look. I hope you enjoyed this. And I hope you enjoyed hearing my thoughts about Game of Thrones, even though they were kind of all over the place. I still don't really love doing these kind of videos just because I'd never know what kind of way you want them done, in a way, because do you enjoy me talking, or would you rather me just montage it all, you know, and just follow the steps of me doing I don't know. If you have any suggestions on making these videos and how you want to see makeup videos, then please hit me up, because I love makeup so much and I love doing this to myself. If you want to hear more thoughts about Game of Thrones that I haven't specifically said at all, then please message me on Instagram, or just I might do like an Instagram question time, because I really liked the show and I have a lot of opinions and I love to share those, so hit me up on there if you haven't already. But yeah, that was today's video. If you enjoyed it and you want to carry on watching this face, I will be doing makeup videos from here on out sometimes maybe. I do Marvel videos, I do Disney videos, I do film review style videos, then please do not forget to subscribe just here, then click on my previous video just here, and here will be a link to a recommended video. But until next time, bye!